Visibility very difficult to see across portions of the Northwest over the three-day weekend. Continues into the day on Tuesday across some locations into the Montana as well as across the plains, where we've just seen just ridiculous amounts of smoke from the 600,000+ acres that have been burned in Montana this season. Still a couple dozen of major fires burning right now across the Big Sky country. We'll be talking about that here over the next few minutes. Thanks for checking us out on Weather Nation. I'm meteorologist Joel Barnes, meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Probably going to cover our main story this week, Chris. Hurricane Irma, a catastrophic Category 4 hurricane as of Monday night.
Of course, that is the top story here at Weather Nation. We'll continue to have the latest on that. And you're going to have more on the fires here in just a second here, Joel. But here's a look at our powerful storm. This is a big and potentially destructive hurricane. Unfortunately, at this point, it looks to be very, very likely that this is going to be a catastrophic hurricane as it approaches the northern Lesser Antilles. And we do have hurricane warnings that are in place through much of the northern Lesser Antilles and extending into the U.S. and UK Virgin Islands, as well as over into Puerto Rico. And here's the reason why. Category 4 Irma, max sustained winds at 140 miles an hour, and it continues to get closer and closer to the Lesser Antilles. That pressure dropping significantly on Monday. Notice that 943 millibars, that's that pressure. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm, and it continues to move its way off towards west at a relatively quick speed here at 13 miles an hour. As a result, hurricane warnings are in place throughout much of the northern Lesser Antilles, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, as well as St. Martin, St. Thomas, St. Croix, the British Virgin Islands, including that as well. And it looks like the British Virgin Islands is going to take a very nasty blow here from the storm. Puerto Rico, you still have in Puerto Rico and the U.S. and UK Virgin Islands, still you have most of your Tuesday to finish up those final preparations. That means boarding up windows. That means evacuating, especially for those of you on north and east facing beaches. Listen to your local law enforcement on that as the storm does approach us from the east. So Anguilla and the northern Lesser Antilles, your worst impacts could be later Tuesday into your Wednesday morning. Puerto Rico later Wednesday into your Thursday morning, and then Hispaniola Thursday and into Friday. Same for you into the Turks and Caicos and on up into the Bahamas. But as this track goes out, if you're watching us from the east coast of the United States, there is still a lot of uncertainty. May I repeat, a lot of uncertainty as this approaches the United States, and this is the reason why. Notice that those model tracks, those individual forecast models, are kind of blending together pretty strongly, but then by the time we start getting to the Bahamas, there's a bit more of a spread, and exactly where that northerly turn takes place, this is still 5 days out here, folks. The computers are going to continue to go back and forth on this solution. A state of emergency has been declared for the Sunshine State of Florida, so if you're watching us from here, be vigilant, be prepared, but there's still a lot of uncertainties in terms of exactly where this is going to go. So again, vigilance is key right now. And speaking of vigilance, we certainly need that across parts of the West where wildfires continue to be a big story. I'm going to send things back over to Joel for more on that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. Fires burning all over Big Sky country from Glacier National Park all the way over into the eastern plains as far north as the Havre area, just to the south of Havre, dealing with a fire there in the Bear Paws. That is this fire here that you do see burned up 20,000 acres in just a couple of days. Very explosive. That is the East Fork fire, which is burning some vegetation, which is almost acting as lighter fluid. The fuel here is vegetation that's seen no rain in almost a couple of months, so extremely dry. Fuels out there for the fire and a lot of smoke. Again, limited visibility. Also, if you're asthmatic, if you have emphysema, probably want to stay indoors. You don't want to breathe in all this smoke and ash. It's not very good for you to breathe, especially, again, if you do have conditions such as asthma. The governor, Montana, declared a state of emergency. The Montana National Guard has been called in to deal with dozens of large fires there. Conditions in several areas in Montana are the driest conditions ever recorded, and we've been taking records there for over 100 years. Here's just 4 of the 43 active fires. The Rice Ridge fire, over 100,000 acres, starting to draw right around 100,000. The Myers fire, the Lolo Peak fire, that's burning. And look at all this smoke that was hanging around Montana, pushed across Wyoming, Colorado. It was a smoky day in Denver from those fires. Red flag warnings into Tuesday currently don't include Montana, which is good. So hopefully we've seen a little bit improvement on the fire weather conditions as far as the winds and the dryness. But the drought, that's going to be an issue here for months out there. Some of the worst drought conditions we've had in decades there into eastern Montana. How about over 1,500 fires have burned 600,000 acres? 29 fires burning, and forecast 29 fires over 2,500 acres burning out there. So we'll continue our coverage of the fires in Big Sky country. Coming up next, we'll talk about the heat into the Northwest. There's a cool down coming in. We'll tell you when after this.